Chair.
Carol Beaumont.
Chair, I also rise speaking to Clause 4 of the Employment Relations Secret Ballot for Strikes Amendment Bill. And as has been mentioned, the purpose of the Act is to require unions, so just unions, to hold a secret ballot vote of their members, and I'm going to come back to this question of members, to approve a strike before undertaking any strike action. Now, you would think that with a piece of legislation that a purpose should be something that is actually needed, that to have an act with a particular purpose should be because there is a need for that act to meet that purpose. But actually, having listened to the submissions, there was no evidence supplied to show there was a need to require unions to hold a secret ballot vote of their members to approve a strike before undertaking any strike action, because they do. They already do. So why would you put into Parliament a bill that has a purpose that is for something that is already done? It seems nonsensical to me. Furthermore, the purpose of this Act is already, in my opinion, well and truly covered off by the requirements of the Principal Act, the Employment Relations Act, whereby that Act requires unions to operate in good faith to their members. And good faith to their members must, in the circumstance of something as serious as a strike, because after all, a strike is something that is not entered into lightly, as my colleagues have said. Workers lose money by taking strike action. So that's not something that anybody relishes. And the sort of economic climate we've got now, where workers and their families are struggling to make ends meet because of ever-rising prices and because of the actions of this government, that it would be even harder, you would think, except that employers have certainly hardened up as well. And so workers are trying to get improved income through collective bargaining, not making progress, and so in fact strikes have increased. But nonetheless, it is a hard ask to take a strike. Now, it is a ballot of the union's members. That's what the purpose says. Now, of course, membership of unions is voluntary. So the other thing that makes you think the purpose of this is somewhat nonsensical is if in this strange, weird world that Mr Hanare lives in, where union officials stand over workers to make them go on strike, well, of course, they don't have to belong to that union. They can say, I'm not a member. I'm not going to be a member anymore. I don't like you. I'm going to stop being a member. I mean, there's no requirement of workers to be members of unions. And so, again, the purpose seems to be somewhat redundant. If there was a union official standing over in the way that has been referred to, either the worker could take action under the good faith provisions of the Employment Relations Act, the Principal Act, or they could, of course, just leave the union and have nothing further to do with it, on the basis that why would you want to belong to an organisation where somebody stands over you? So those things make me think that the purpose outlined in Clause 4 is completely redundant, unnecessary and a waste of Parliament's time. And there are many, many more things that I could think of that would be more worthy to amend in the Employment Relations Act. But that's probably wider than Clause 4, so I won't go there. But it does interest me also, and my colleague Darlene Fenton has talked about this, that it is quite narrow because it does only apply to one party in the employment relationship. The Principal Act, as I said earlier, talks about all of the parties. It talks about workers, their unions, employers, their employer organisations. But this amendment to the Act has a purpose of only dealing with one of the parties in the employment relations, or actually two, sorry, the members and their union. I guess it's two. It doesn't deal with the other side of the coin. And if, for some of the members opposite, they feel that this is about democracy and making good decisions and avoiding the possibility that people were making a decision that isn't well thought through, then you would wonder why they perhaps weren't looking at employers being required to take a secret ballot of their shareholders, for example, if they were going to lock out?
Limplay.